Welcome to part 3 of Getting the Most from Find a Grave. In this section, we're going to talk about adding new memorials, how to make changes and additions to existing ones, requesting management rights, and we will do an overview of the mobile app and discuss some FAQs of unrelated subjects. We'll cover how to add a new memorial. You must have an account. Most memorials are already there. Then we'll do making suggestions to changes. Only a manager can change a record, and we'll talk about gaining management rights. So let's look at Find a Grave for these topics. Let's see how to add a brand new record to Find a Grave. You want to make sure it doesn't already exist under some variation of spelling. So make sure you've thoroughly scoured the Find a Grave for the person that you want to add. Almost in the middle of the home page is something called Add a Memorial. So that's pretty easy. So just click on it. So just click on Add a Memorial, and it will ask you for the cemetery name that you want to put the new memorial in, and of course the location. This, you may not know the exact name of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one to Park Cemetery in Wichita. So I'm just going to put in Park. So it's tried to suggest a bunch of others, a Parker Family Cemetery and all those, but I don't want to do that. But I am going to put in Wichita, Sedgwick County, and see if I can find this. So you're better off, it's kind of like using wildcards, just use a portion of it. And I'll say continue, and there it is. Because see, this one is called in their system, Wichita Park Cemetery and Mausoleum. So let's click on that. And this will give me a page where I can add all the information of who I want to add. Now, I'm not going to add myself, but so you enter in all the pertinent information. If they have nicknames, you do maiden names. You want to put in the birth and death date if you know them, and the location. Enter in a nice short bio. This will help you later and some others looking at this person to make sure it's the right one. So I wouldn't. You can put in as much as you want. That's up to you. If you know the cemetery section number, plot number, put that information there. It'll be a lot easier to find the grave, particularly if it's a large cemetery. If you happen to be conversant in GPS and you can figure out the latitude and longitude from your smartphone, enter those coordinates here. If there's an inscription on the gravestone, enter that right here where it says inscription. On gravesite details, maybe you didn't know where the section was and the plot number, and they may not be handy anyway. Sometimes I will put in here just some general information of where that grave is in the cemetery. For example, a small one, the medium-sized one, not too far from me, I put in there that it was in the middle section, 5 rows up from the road. That way you could go find it real easy. So then you say Add Memorial. A couple of hints on this. You need to, of course, make sure it's not already entered. Also, if you have someone that just recently died, you want to put in here, you need to do it almost immediately. There are a lot of hobbyists that scour the newspapers and particularly a lot of the online obituary and memorial pages now from the funeral homes. Good friend of mine, her mother died just 2 weeks ago on the 27th of March. By the 30th, a hobbyist had put that memorial up for her mother and just copied everything word for word from the obituary, which may or may not have been what she wanted to say. So, and it sounds kind of awkward to, as soon as someone dies, go out there, and even if you just put out their name and a couple minor things, you could go back later as the owner and easily update it. So otherwise you have to go through a process of suggesting edits to whoever entered it, and which I'll cover here shortly. So that's how you enter in a brand new memorial. Let's look at how to make changes to existing records. It's a little more involved. So first, find the record you want to change. I'm going to pick one out of my virtual cemeteries, and we'll try to make some changes to it. This is Earl Clark. He's a great uncle of mine, actually a great uncle. if you will. He's actually the brother of my grandfather. I'll let you decide how that's described. Anyway, he's buried out in California. He was born and raised in Kansas. But as you can see, there is very little, almost no information about him on this. Now, since I don't own it, this was entered in by someone named TLS. I can't make direct changes to it. What you have to do is click on Suggest Edits. That will take you to a screen where you can suggest edits. You can change the information, add new information that's not there, and as you can see, all of the ones you can. To change the bio, you have to do this suggest other corrections. It just brings up a different screen with the ability to write in a bio. I'm going to cancel that. So once you add the things that you want changed, what you have to do is say Save Suggestions. That will send it to the owner of the memorial, and they will review it, approve it. I have good luck with most of them. I have heard horror stories that someone won't make a change for some minor reason. But that's how you make a change to an existing one. So next, let's see how to gain the management or ownership rights. That way you can make direct changes to the record. Let's look at the same record. What I do to gain management rights is I do suggest edits, and then I usually do the suggest other corrections. And then here I'll very nicely, I'll request that they transfer the management to me. I've had very good luck on this. Sometimes I put in some extra, I describe who I am, that I'm in the direct lineage of the person. Sometimes I'll even I'll show them or point out that in Ancestry, if they look at my Ancestry record, they can see where I fit in. So it's really nice if there's someone in your family that has been put in by someone else. For example, this TLS, he's added 39,000 records. So I say he. TLS is a hobbyist. I don't know the person. So Find a Grave has standards for transferring these, and these should do this if you can show that you're a descendant. If not, you may have to contact Find a Grave themselves at support at Find a Grave. Find a Grave also has an app for smartphones. It's convenient and easy to do lookups, and you can look up your virtual cemeteries. Adding photos and memorials is not as intuitive and as easy as doing it on a desktop. But you can also easily email memorial records to someone from the phone, and it's free. So I recommend adding it to your smartphone. I use it in the field a lot, being in the field, meaning out in cemeteries. It's I find that sometimes when I go looking for someone in a cemetery that maybe I even knew where they were years ago, but now I forgot where they were. I think I'm technically astute, but I always find myself writing all kinds of post-it notes and printing out papers to take with me. The app on your smartphone can keep you from doing that. You can see the Find a Grave. This is the homepage of it. You can look up memorials. You can look up virtual cemeteries, and it shows them pretty easy. Here's where you search for a new memorial. Just enter in the name and the birth dates and the county where it is, and it finds it pretty easy. What I find easiest to use is looking at my virtual cemeteries. If I'm going out to look at ones that I doing some work on, ones that I knew were there, brings up the virtual cemeteries just real easy. One of those was one of my great-great-grandfathers. He's down near South Haven in southern Kansas, and this is the top page of his memorial on the iPhone. And you can scroll down and see all the information on it. But as I mentioned earlier about when adding new cemeteries, that put in some directions on how to find the grave, maybe even over and above using section or block numbers and plot numbers. What I did, I think I told you earlier, that this is about the cemetery details. And what I did is I put in there, it's in the middle section, 5 rows up from the county road. That's very handy. See, if you emailed this to someone that wanted to go look at that cemetery and that grave, they would be able to see that also. So these are some of the handy tips that the app can do for you. It's fairly extensive, and we don't have time to go through all the details here, but it's easy to learn, and like I say, it's free. Can't beat that. You still probably have a lot of questions. I'll try to touch on a couple of them here. One of them is, what is a sponsored memorial? You'll see a sponsored icon next to some of the memorials, and that means someone has paid $5 to remove all the ads from that memorial. It's not just while you view it, but anyone. No one would see the ads on that memorial. Are national cemeteries included? These are the national cemeteries with the veterans. In 2011, there was a mass conversion of all the veterans they had at the time to find a grave. Since then, it's been individuals putting the veterans' information on there and the hobbyists. So there is not an official connection between the national cemeteries and find a grave. Can a memorial without a grave be created? Yes, there are some times when maybe the person was cremated and ashes were scattered elsewhere, or you don't even know where they were buried. That can be included as a memorial. Just be sure to explain clearly in the memorial that this is not the actual grave. And there are probably many, many more. Send me an email with your questions and I'll get back with you. Thanks again. I hope these videos gave you an idea or two to explore. Find a grave is easy to navigate. Just get in there and play around. Thanks for watching. Still, I have one more fun thing to share with you. Recently, at a special interest group meeting, we talked about unique names from the past. If you're interested in these or want to have fun killing some time, Find a Grave is a great place to explore old names. Just do a search for a single letter of a last name, no first name, and a death date before 1900, or whatever you wish. By the way, W, J, M, and S are the most common first letters of last names. Then search. Scroll through the results for some interesting names. Here are some fun names I've run across over time and with a recent Find a Grave search. Here are 3 family members buried next to each other. First is Erastus Niles, one of my favorite names. In the middle is Orilla, who is Erastus's sister. And then next to her is Silas Packard. That's her husband. And one of my favorites, Algernon Smith. Sounds like the title of a cowboy movie. If you think a name is unique, you might be surprised. I looked up Erastus in Find a Grave and found nearly 11,000 occurrences. An Algernon search revealed nearly 2,700.
In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one born to give you no pain.